Good morning. It is Sunday, and I know why you're here. It's for the cheesecake. This is a little mini collab that Denise at Dish with Deen, Joan at Joan's Pointed Plate, and myself, a girl on her phone, have put together for Pound Dropper's Cheesecake. Denise started it, raving over the funfetti. I had given the, Weight Watchers standard one that has gone around a couple years ago a try. I just didn't care for it, never have tried another one. She kept on and on and on. Well, then Joan made it. And Joan's like, pull the trigger and make it. So I pulled the trigger, and now I am addicted for the past month. If you are with me, you know every time I come on this porch, that bee comes, and there he is. I'm going to put you on hold, and I'm going to squirt him. Okay, I usually have my fly swatter, and I told you, I think it's the same one. Dawned on me the other day, I have that spray that shoots like 20-some feet. Why have I not been using it? Okay, got him. He just flew off into the sunrise. He better not be back. Anyway, where was I? Joan said, pull the trigger. I pulled it. I'm addicted. So for the past month or more, I have made one every single week, a different flavor. Now, I will tell you this, in my experience, do not use a 10-inch springform unless you want it really, really thin. I made that mistake. Don't use a deep dish pie pan, even if it's 9-inch. It will not bake properly. It will be just too yogurty. Made that mistake. That was the pumpkin. So I remade it. The dish I use now, I find it perfect. It's not springform. You can't pop it up and make it gorgeous, but you can cut it out into 9 squares and it eats just the same. If you have been with me, you know I don't make pretty food. I make food that's meant to eat. I couldn't make a pretty food if I had to. I think I just got through plating that up. I think it was pretty good. It was delicious. I took her butterscotch recipe and I've made it butterscotch caramel. I added cake mix like she did. She used the yellow, which you can absolutely use the yellow. But I bought a butter pecan. If you cannot find that, stick with the yellow. It'll be just fine. Then, just like I did the pumpkin, I added spice cake mix to it and pumpkin pie sugar-free syrup, the Torani. That's what I have. This one, I added, instead of vanilla extract, and the pumpkin, do pumpkin pie extract, if you have it. Those are like the upgrades, I guess you would say. Use vanilla if you don't. This one, I used the caramel extract that I already had on hand, didn't have to buy it. I have it linked in my description box. I get little odd ones from Amazon. If you can't find them at the store, they got some, little odd, out-of-the-way ones. And the Torani sugar-free caramel syrup. I just added that as a little extra, let's just dial it in there. And we dialed it in there. Also, you'll see, I decided to make my microwave apples. It just came to me. I told you on the video, when I was cleaning everything up, I had like a light bulb go off. It tastes like caramel apple. Let's put some apples on it. So anyway, I'm gonna hush up. Let's go cook a cheesecake. Be sure and go see Denise, and be sure and go see Joan. They are linked down below. You will have 3 delicious new cheesecakes to try. Maybe we'll do another one of these. Who knows? Low points. I'll have it on the screen at the end. I forgot to look again. So if you haven't subscribed, please do so. And let's go get started. So we're going to make, it's the butterscotch on her website. It's the butterscotch cheesecake, and that's what I was saying. I'm gonna make the butterscotch. Well, I start getting my ingredients together because I'm mixing it up a little bit, and it's butterscotch caramel. Really, to me, they taste enough alike that it's going to go together well. Butterscotch, if you make it from scratch, brown sugar. Caramel, white sugar. Still, to me, same flavor. We're going to do a little bit of both, so I'm renaming it butterscotch caramel. I have my oven on at 350. So the first thing I have 3 eggs, and I've already beaten them. I was looking to make sure my camera didn't blur. it has grown a mind of its own here lately. It did not used to do that. Now all of a sudden it just decides to blur out in the middle of cooking. So if we get one of them spots in here, I apologize up front. So to the 3 eggs, we're going to add 3 tablespoons of whatever sugar substitute you want to use. I use the monk fruit, the Lakanto brand. So this is 3 tablespoons of that. And then we're going to add the flavorings. I have caramel, so that's what we're going to use. 1 teaspoon. And these flavorings, I have all the ones that I have on hand. I have them downstairs in my description box. And then this is my added ingredient, the classic caramel. You can leave this out. It's not in the original recipe, but I'm telling you, it made a difference in the pumpkin, so I'm thinking, you know, the same thing here. I want 1 tablespoon. And last time my 1 tablespoon ran over and it was a tablespoon and then some. Okay, now let's whisk that in. This could, oh, the smell. I am plumb giddy thinking about this. Now I'm going to fold in my yogurt to begin with because it gets real thick with the whisk. I'm going to tell you what, you have to have some muscles. Now we want to add 3 cups of yogurt, and I use the Fage because she says Fage or Chobani. Everybody swears by that, and I had never tried it until I made that first cheesecake. And since it turned out so well, I'm afraid to change. So I am just sticking with it. I'm sure it's been made bazillions of times with other yogurts, but I have found what works for me. I'm keeping on. So it is 3 whole cups. And you know what? For a yogurt, this yogurt is not all that twangy. I think I could even eat this not just sitting there by itself, but when I mix it with my pudding mixes and I make my little desserts, I will link that. I'll tell you what, I will link my video at the end. They call it the end screen. I did a video, 5 ways to use Greek yogurt and sugar-free pudding, and I'm not no horn tooter. If you have been subscribed to me, you know I do not toot my own horn. But y'all, they're so blasted good, it ain't funny. My husband's favorite is the pineapple cheesecake, and I pretty much gotta agree with him. Now looky there, that went a whole lot smoother for me than the whisk. I don't know why in the world. It was so, maybe once the the pudding goes in, maybe that's what makes it thick. Because I always whisk it, and I have to get like I'm a witch stirring my brew. Y'all ever hear that? My brother, when he was, is butterscotch sugar-free pudding. When he was in elementary school, we're 7 years apart, I'm 7 years older. There was a song that they taught them at Halloween. Stirring and stirring and stirring my brew. Ooh, ooh. Tiptoe, tiptoe, boo. But you have to sing several times through before you actually get to the boo. Me and him used to sing that because he loved me to sing to him and tell him stories. I don't guess I'll ever forget that. Of all the things that leave my mind, stuff like that is the stuff that has stuck around. Now, I thought this did not have cake mix in it, but it does. She uses the yellow. Well, I thought I'm going to change that up too. So I'm going to use butter pecan because it sounds delicious. I know the cake mix is good because I've made these. And Walmart's here don't have them. I found it at Harris Teeter. Not sure where you might find it because it's not one of the more popular ones, I guess. So 3 tablespoons of that. And that is all there is to it. Lightly sprayed with spray. I can try not to get in front of you. That would be lovely. Okay, then we just want to spread this out. Now this goes in the oven at 350, like I said, for 30 minutes. This is one of those things I have never tried to adjust. The recipe says 30 minutes. It'll still be a little jiggly, but trust her. So I have trusted her. 30 minutes, it's out of there. So the next thing, I'll be back when it's cool enough, and I want to show you what I cover it with because it is so cool. I am back before I thought I would be. When I was cleaning up my mess from what we just did, it crossed my mind, if it tastes like caramel apple dip, let's make some apples to go on top. Because, you know, regular cheesecake, you put strawberries on it or cherries on it. And I'm like, you know what? I got apples over there. Let's do it. So, this is the microwaved apple recipe that I used when I made the apple pie French toast. Also, when I make caramel apple burritos. It is so quick and easy. It cooks in the microwave. You can make Hungry Girl's scoopable apple pie in the crock pot. That is really good. But for this, I just need a little bit. I'm going to use two. I had to stop and think, what was I doing? I'm going to use 2 apples. I am doubling the recipe. One recipe uses 1 large apple. I don't want much on my cheesecake, but I want to make sure I have enough for the whole thing. Now, these are, and I cannot remember because I washed them and have them in my fruit bowl. The type of apple it is said that it tastes like honey, and so they are very sweet, and I wish I could remember. It's on my grocery haul when I bought it. Whichever grocery haul that was last week. I think maybe the last grocery haul I did. So since I know these are sweet, I'm cutting back on this sweetener. This is where it helps to know your apple. Don't just take a recipe that says this many apples and this much sugar, sweetener, honey, whatever. If you have a tart one, you can get away with more. But if you got a sweet one like this, ooh, it'll just be too much. So I'm going to go off camera, peel these and dice them fine, then come back and we'll just mix the rest of it up. Alright, now I've got my apples diced up and you can see the size. And let me just say right off, I was peeling them and looking at my thumbnail. Let me clarify, that is not filth. I have been crafting up a storm, so I've got all kind of things on my hands. I was staining, and so I just want to clear that up before you think girl is So, did I tell you I sprayed this? Just spray it. And you don't need anything with a cover, just something that can go in the microwave. Now we want to sprinkle on our sweetener and our spice. I am only going by the recipe in that this is how I do it. Like I was saying, go by the sweetness of your apples. So I'm going to go maybe half a teaspoon. And the apple pie spice, even in my recipe, this is already on my website. I say that if you're making the caramel apple burritos, if you're making it for that, or if you're making it to top pancakes or French toast or waffles or ice cream, anywhere you would want some apple pie filling, to cut back the apple pie spice for that because it can be overpowering. But I made it strong to go in my apple pie French toast casserole since it's a lot of bread. So here again, we're just going to I'm going to try half a teaspoon, and we can taste it and adjust it. Now let's just kind of stir that around a little bit. This will be real good in the fall when you can get fresh mountain apples. Now we want to thicken it with some cornstarch and water. So here I have 6 tablespoons of water. Lord, you know what? I knew I was missing one of these and I thought it got thrown away. It was in my cornstarch. I want a teaspoon of cornstarch. And just pour that over. We're going to put this in the microwave uncovered 2 or 3 minutes or until the apple is as soft as you want it to be. Alright, I checked mine. These are nice firm apples, so that's another thing that takes comes into play when you're cooking it, is if it's already a soft apple, it will not take as long. This is a firm apple. That's one of the things I think maybe was one of the descriptions of it, or either it doesn't turn brown, but whatever, is a nice firm apple. So this is, I think you can see, it did thicken up. If you have too much liquid, it will thicken as it sits. So don't rush to put more in it, because as it cools, it'll thicken up for you. Now, so this was exactly 30 minutes. Can you see the jiggliness? Now I'm going to let it cool, and then I'll be back. The cheesecake has cooled a good little bit. I can touch it and everything. I just don't want to have a lot of heat to come off and a lot of condensation. Just to make sure, though, I like to put a little piece of paper towel. I think she even says to do that. I just stick it right in there, so if there is any heat that causes any condensation, it doesn't drip back on the cake. Now this is what I want to show you. I got this at Trader Joe's. It is beeswax coated cloth, and it molds to whatever you're covering. This one is just my dedicated one for this dish right here, for my cheesecakes. All you have to do, it says to warm it. I found that I don't need to warm it. It conforms. You just push it. It gives you a good airtight seal. My little flaps, I just fold up. But you can hear how it's sticky. I love this. This is so much nicer than plastic wrap. And it clings. And I found by accident last week on my cheesecake, I had it sitting in the back of the fridge, and I was putting something else in front of it, and it slipped out of my hand, and it landed on top of the cheesecake. Well, it just sit there, didn't crush it, smush it, or anything. Now this will sit in the refrigerator overnight, and when we come back, we will plate it up. Oh boy, we are up to the moment I have been waiting on. It has been a day. We're going to unwrap it. I haven't looked at it yet. We're going to look at it together. Now, see how easy this stuff, it just makes a nice little lid. Now, you see that condensation right there? This kept it from settling on our cheesecake. You can see some of it on the paper, so I highly suggest putting a paper towel in there. Now, it's got a little crack, but that's what cheesecakes do. So I cut it into 9 squares. And I'm not always even. And I can't remember the points on this. Y'all know I'm the world's worst. I'll put it on the screen. Alright. Now, let's see. What shall we try? What's the easiest to get out? That is one thing about putting it in a dish. Not as easy to do, but see, I scraped up a little bit off the bottom. That's alright. Okay, we'll put 2, because I'm going to top this 2 different ways. And you can also eat it plain. Slide that over. First way, let me find a dish rag. first way, we're just going to go plain Jane. Some sugar-free caramel syrup. And you can weigh it to get your proper points. I'm just not opting to do that this morning. And hopefully it's not will come out in a big blob to begin with. I'll start in the middle if it does, because we'll cover it up. Oh, that looks delicious already. And now I'm using the almond milk Ready Whip because I just wanted to change this week. I always use the fat-free, and I thought, let's just mix it up. Don't know the points. I'm not going to put enough on there to have any, I don't think. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? Oh, that is gorgeous. I cannot wait to taste it. This is the one I'm waiting to taste. This looks like a little fat squatty piece of pie. We'll turn it around so you can't see the part that I mangled. These are the apples that we made yesterday. They've just been in the fridge. You can see they set up a little bit, but I don't want to warm them because I don't want warm apples on my cold cheesecake. You can warm them if you like that. And put how many ever apples you want, because 0 points. And as if that wasn't enough, this is going to be so sweet. If this don't fix my sweet tooth, I don't know what will. I'm just going to gild this lily. Just a little bit. And then, of course, a little bit of Ready Whip. Because why not? Gorgeous. And you know what? I'm going to be one of those people and I do want to taste it with the apples. I just want a nice pretty picture. I tell you what, you hold on, let me take a pretty picture and I'll be back. Alright, I am going to taste it plain. I'm going to try not to get any of that syrup on it because I really want just the cheesecake. That's not really a big piece, but you can really get that butterscotch pudding. You will notice after I said that there was probably a little silence. I had a notification pop up on my phone, and I will take that down. I cannot taste the yogurt. If it tastes like yogurt at all, it's just like one of those Dan and Light and Fit. You know, they have the flavored ones. It might taste like one of those, just a nice flavored yogurt, if at all. To me, it does not. Now, let's see what the apples do to it. I'm gonna get a big bite over the absolute top. A delicious caramel apple. It's almost it's not nutty. I don't think I can taste that from the almond milk, but there's like a deepness and a richness under it. Oh my gosh, this is good. If you like butterscotch, if you like caramel, I highly recommend this cheesecake. I hope you have enjoyed our collab, and I hope you have gone to see Denise, and I hope you have gone to see Joan, and I hope if you are not subscribed to any one of us that you do so, and be sure and hit that notification bell. Hit all notifications. I didn't realize some of mine I hit where it said personalized. I think I did it by accident. You don't get everything. It just kind of bases it on what you watch. You might not get all the notifications every time we upload new content or even a community post. Make sure you hit all on the notification bell. So that is it for me. I will see you next time, and have a good Sunday.